Another story we're watching today is about the COVID-19 health emergencies, and he's confirming now, the president, that Congress will end the COVID-19 health emergencies on May 11th. That means the government will shift basically from pandemic to endemic. It will draw down COVID relief money and really shift it from being a pandemic now to just an endemic. A lot of people are asking why now? Why in May? Why not now? A statement from the Office of Management and Budget read that an abrupt end to the emergency declarations would actually create wide-ranging chaos and uncertainty throughout the healthcare system for states, hospitals, doctors' offices, and it adds, most importantly, for tens of millions of Americans. But we all know, John, it was September of last year when President Biden was speaking on the road, and this is what he said to CBS.
Mr. President, first Detroit Auto Show in 3 years.
Yeah.
Is the pandemic over?
The pandemic is over. We still have a problem with COVID. We're still doing a lot of work on it. But the pandemic is over.
The Biden administration also said it will lift Title 42 in conjunction with ending the COVID emergency on May 11th. Joining us to discuss is former special agent with the United States Secret Service, Charles Marino. He's also a former senior law enforcement advisor at the Homeland Security Department. Charles, always great to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Bianca.
So Title 42, we know, has been used more than 2 million times to expel migrants. This since the spring of 2020, according to government data. And President Biden said just a few weeks back he thinks that Title 42 makes the border invasion worse. Let's take a listen.
It was designed to deal with the pandemic, but it's used as a means to expel people at the border. People turned away under Title 42, and they're not they're not barred from trying to come back. They've been turned away. They go back, they try again, they try again. Well, they can and they do try to re-enter the United States again and again, which makes the problem at the border even worse.
Please give us your reaction to this thinking, Charles.
Well, I think we can put this down as another lie on the long list of lies for Joe Biden. Look, they never gave Remain in Mexico a chance. They wanted to do away with it from the second they got in office. And the same holds true for Title 42. They wanted to get rid of it, and they have not used it consistently to prevent migrants from coming into the country. As a matter of fact, the statistics prove that they've only used Title 42 30% of the time. And that 30% is like the last remaining deterrent on the southwest border that causes some migrants some pause from making the dangerous journey because they think there's a slim chance that Title 42 may get used to send them back home. But generally speaking, once Title 42 is gone, the last deterrent is removed on the southwest border. There's no enforcement as it is, and the floodgates will truly open up.
Well, there you have it. And, that date has now been set. It was the Supreme Court in December that said, no, Title 42 must remain in effect. But, Charles, now that we know it's May 11th, the administration has put it out there. It's not just us stateside that are watching. The cartels are watching. The smugglers are watching. So as far as national security goes, how bad could it be, in your opinion? What do you foresee?
Well, this has been a national security threat from the start. I mean, we see what it's doing on the humanitarian side, but from the national security perspective, we see how many encounters there have been with those on the terrorist watch list. We know that the number of pure gotaways is well over 1 million. So we have to include that the number of migrants on the terrorist watch list are also included in that group, getting into the country unscathed. So this is a huge problem. But, the president often says, show me your budget and I'll show you what you value. Well, guess what? He does not value enforcement here with respect to the border. He wants to turn the southwest border into one gigantic processing center.
Well, we just heard him make those budget comments, and, with everything going on in the nation, and we also have these calls for an impeachment of Mayorkas. The House does have control of the GOP, but there's a lot of work that they're looking at in addition to the border, Charles. How high up does this priority need to be, and how long do you think Mayorkas needs to stay in this position?
Well, Mayorkas' problem is that the men and women of DHS have lost confidence in him. You cannot be the leader of the largest law enforcement department in the U.S. government and lose the confidence of your men and women. And for him, that started with CBP. That started going off of the false narrative of agents whipping migrants on horseback and never coming out to correct the narrative. And it also goes back to him just not allowing them to do their jobs, which they signed up for, which was to secure the border and enforce the immigration laws. So, but the president is not going to hold him accountable, Bianca, because this is what they want to do. They want to allow migrants to come into the country and threaten our national security. They're putting every community at risk here. I mean, the cartels, what we're seeing in Mexico, this is all going to come into the United States, and we're going to end up fighting this war within our own borders against these cartels. The drugs, the human trafficking, the sex trafficking, none of this ends at the border. This continues. The work of the cartels continues once these migrants come into the country, where they remain at the mercy of the cartels.
And none of this ends, anytime soon, because these people are here for decades. And as you mentioned, we didn't even get to fentanyl, which is claiming so many innocent American lives. Obviously, a huge issue there. Charles Marino, we always appreciate your insight. Thanks so much for being with us today, sir.